You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications.
And this is Saturday, October the 13th, and you have indeed entered overtime. Now, what you will see before you over the next 30 minutes is the sum total of a 24-hour, three-state scavenger hunt for highlights, scores, and stories to delight and entertain you, at least we hope. And let me preface all of this by saying to you in a little bit of a spoiler way, I have a goodly amount of good news to bring your way tonight. That established from a logistical standpoint, this day rated high on the degree of difficulty standard for your friendly neighborhood sports team because Mother Nature wasn't exactly cooperative. To wit, my biggest worry entering this day was weather and the ugly green and yellow blobs all over the radar that I thought would ruin the state quarterfinal softball fun. Joke's on me, I guess, because nature spared the diamond doings and outflanked us all on the golf front. Suffice it to say, Illinois State golf in both Bloomington Normal and Decatur proved to be a bit of an ordeal today, but as I hinted earlier, there was good news to be had here and everywhere. Let us take you to Decatur first. Quincy Notre Dame and that young lady, Jamie Earhart, seeking the school's first ever trophy at the state level, and Jamie Earhart was plenty good today. Hole number 2, her first hole of the day, and she is going to be magnificent right here with her chip shot. This is her third shot, mind you, and that should have fell for eagle. Oh, that's ridiculous. Tap in birdie, the only red number on the day for Miss Jamie. She fired a 76 on the day, 154 overall, and that is good for 5th place individually. Good for Jamie Earhart. Lucy Clark struggled a little bit on her opening holes, did fire an 81 today. That's 161 overall and good for 13th place individually. Lauren Fry from West Central, she's pretty darn good right here on the par 5 second hole as well. Her second shot to a nice position. She'd chip up on, and then she'd 2-putt for par right there. She had herself a pretty darn good day as well. But the story on this day was team, and it was Quincy Notre Dame, ending up picking that elusive trophy up today with a 3rd place finish. Congratulations to the Lady Raiders as they get it done behind Jamie Earhart's phenomenal day and strong play over the course of 2 days, but really good team balance as well. Take you to the team scores. We'll tell you how close Quincy Notre Dame ended up. They end up in 3rd. They're well back of Massac County and Rochester. Massac County, a traditional power, but still a trophy's a trophy. So congratulations to the Lady Raiders as they get it done. Individually, I mentioned Lauren Fry to you today. She finished with a top 25 finish, going with a 165 today. So too Haley Hadsall out of Macomb with a finish of 166 on the 2 days. Couldn't track her down today. She ended up on the other side of the course, and it started raining before I could get over there. Also, as I mentioned, great balance from the Quincy Notre Dame Lady Raiders. Katie Nieswinder with a 180 today. Kelly Swisher with a 169. That's 4 golfers in the top 70, and that's good enough to get you a trophy. So great job, Lady Raiders. Now on the boys' side, the weather was far more inclement in Bloomington Normal. Trust me, I got caught in the downpour and was forced to spend an hour in Clinton, Illinois that I'm never ever going to get back. Leading IHSA officials today to completely scrap day 2 of the tournament for all classes, which means what happened yesterday stands up, and that means Zach Burry didn't have to play today. He ends up as a medalist, though 5th place overall with a 74, and you realize the great run that we showed you yesterday right here that started on 4 for him with back-to-back birdies on 2 of the toughest holes in the course. 74 for him. 5th place was the good news for the Blue Devils. The bad news, Corey Boots, who is probably working his way into that medalist group, or at least the top 10 there, or maybe even higher. He was in 14th place yesterday, never had a chance to make the move. As you saw yesterday, though, a couple of back-to-back sand saves were really good early in the round. He ended up on the bogey train the last 3 holes, and that might have knocked him out of medalist contention. Overall, though, the Blue Devils very, very strong. Colby Rodemick also pretty good on the day yesterday with a 46, which means he ends up with a top 50 finish as the Devils end up staying where they were yesterday with a 5th place finish overall. 1A highlights, we'll show you those. They're coming up here in just a second. You will see Hunter Bettis coming up in just a matter of moments right here from West Central. Had a pretty darn good day as well with an 80 overall, top 40 finish for Hunter Bettis. He was kind of the story for West Central. West Central, not a great team showing, 10th out of 12. But a nice day had by all. Also want to mention Drew Eaton in Class 2A, top 60 finish as well. So congratulations to all our golfers. Great work this season. Had a blast covering you. Just wish we would have had one more day today instead of getting rained on all over the place. Well, to softball now, where you already know that the Palmyra Lady Panthers are about as impressive a sports dynasty as exists in the entire Tri-States. But to put some perspective on it, with a win today over South Callaway, the girls from P-Town would earn their 6th, I repeat, 6th Final Four appearance in the last 7 years. Tall order, though, today in the Kingdom of Callaway as we take you to Mocaine. Brian Wassman's team locked in a pitcher's duel and that means a showdown with the Bulldogs and Michelle Nolting, who's none too shabby as she kept Palmyra silent for the first 3 innings. Madison Rager, though, equal to the task. Palmyra's young pitcher, she has just become an absolute technician on the hill, getting the job done, getting strikeout after strikeout. The offense would finally come to life a little bit for the Palmyra Lady Panthers in the second inning when Breanne Caldwell kind of takes the lid off things, but it would be a Lex Van Nostrand, LVN home run in the fourth that would key things and break this thing open just a little bit. Rager would take advantage of the early 1-0 lead. She'd just keep pitching strongly, and the Palmyra Lady Panthers get it done today. Congratulations to them. Headed back to state by virtue of a 2-1 win over a phenomenal opponent today, which means another trip to Springfield, kids. And coming up on Friday, that means a showdown with Pleasant Hope, as you see right there. Pleasant Hope gets the win today. They are now 26-2 on the season against Palmyra 25-4. I believe these two teams met last year with Palmyra getting the win, so it should be a dandy showdown Friday at 11 a.m. coming up on Friday down in beautiful Springfield. Meanwhile, great news for the Knox County Lady Eagles, who are headed to the Final Four for the first time since 1981. Now, I'm going to take the hit for this one. I looked at the radar all day long. Ross was coming over for this game, and there was this big green blob that looked like it was going to attack Moberly. How they got this game in, I have no idea. Apologies to Eagle Nation. We'll make it up to you on Friday, I swear, with great highlights from state, but we didn't think this thing was going to happen. I got burned today at one place, and I get burned at another. So there you have it. But we're excited as all get out for the Knox County Lady Eagles. Devin Goodhouse with a huge home run. Bailey Couch, our girl, with 3 hits on the day, and Rachel Poston with 11 strikeouts. That means tall order for Knox County to win a state championship, or at least get to the championship game as they take on perennial powerhouse, the Silex Owls, who've only got 1 loss this season. But Knox County seems to be a team of destiny right now. Can't wait for Friday. That is going to be a ton of fun, kids, as we watch some great softball on 2 different diamonds 1 hour apart. Well, it's a quest for back-to-back titles, and today the Quincy Notre Dame soccer team had to fight out of some tight quarters in the regional championship tilt out at Boots Bush Park against a Springfield Lutheran team that seemed to want to take out the defenders right here. Regional title on the line, QND already down 1-0. Quincy Notre Dame had plenty of chances. Evan Riggs with a throw, and the ball eventually ends up with Parker Reese, who's the victim right here of just an absolutely phenomenal save. That kid couldn't do that again if he tried. 1-0 Springfield Lutheran at the half. Parker Reese going to find some space right here, get near the box, deliver a near perfect cross to Taylor Reese, but he can't get there for the redirect. And again, Quincy Notre Dame struggling to get their offense going. But then finally, when it came in a major way right here. Evan Riggs is wide open at the edge of the box right here. He's going to score and tie this thing up with a beautiful volley shot from about 20 yards out. Not long after, and really quickly, it's Cooper Reese with the lob in to Parker Reese. Oh, these Reeses, they were everywhere today. And look at Parker going with the left foot right there. Opposite side, made it 2-1. That's technically your golden goal, but QND wasn't done in this barrage. Brendan Smith going to put one past the keeper as well. All of this in about an 8-minute time frame as the Raiders stay hungry, stay alive, and move on. They win today by the final count of 3-1. They are on the road to beautiful Effingham. That's going to be a fun road trip on Wednesday to take on Hillsborough. That game's set for 4 o'clock. They will not be our only regional champion going on. Macomb last night. These highlights, as promised, finally in-house, taking on Peoria Christian. Penalty restart early for Macomb. They would pepper the goalie, who was apparently Scuba Steve. What's with the headgear, son? Early on, though, it's Macomb getting one right here. Mark Harris is going to play your hero in this game. Right-footed volley. It's almost like a one-timer, and it is a thing of beauty for the Bombers as they built an early 1-0 goal. They would add another, but it was Harris really with the golden goal. And the story in this one, as you watch it again in slow motion, Harris just seems to be the right guy in the right spot. This Macomb soccer team really has come to life this season, showing great energy today, or actually I should say last night, and a great resourceful goal there. That gets it done. Macomb moving on to the sectionals at Warrensburg-Latham thanks to that 2-0 victory. Their opponent will be Williamsville, and again, that is a Wednesday game at 4 o'clock, and again, that is not a very short drive for anyone involved. Hey, speaking of soccer, Ross Green has a great story coming up for you tomorrow night at 10 o'clock on the Sunday Night News about football at a football school. Eric Hill has done a marvelous job as Hannibal this week checked into the top 10 in the state rankings. They're 1 win away from winning an NCMC title. It's been a wonderful, wonderful go of it for the Hannibal Pirates. We'll talk all about it tomorrow night with Ross Green right here at 10 o'clock. Be sure to join him. And speaking of more good news, Katie Fauble getting it done for the third year in a row. She is a sectional champion. Today she beat Catherine Ferris to get that done 6-3, 6-0. We already knew yesterday that Katie Fauble from Quincy High School was headed off to state. She's going to go off as a sectional champion and hopefully with a good ranking. We'll find out more about that a little later this week. But congratulations to Katie Fauble, the Blue Devils, and also as well to the Quincy Notre Dame Raiders, who had a fine season but just didn't get anybody to state this year. Let's talk some volleyball as well. West Hancock today finishes third in the Bushnell Prairie City Avon tournament, beating West Central to get that done at the end. And congratulations to Illini West. They win their pool today at the Sherrard tournament, end up finishing fourth overall, but that's another good showing in a tournament for a team that seems to play really well in tournaments. Go figure that with the Illini West Chargers. And when we come back, a magic moment for Tom Padgett at Quincy University. Plus, we find out if Illinois College can win without the nation's most prolific Division III quarterback in the mix. And yes, we've got it. Hey, how else are you going to spend a rainy Sunday night? But right here with overtime, my friends. Overtime style. We'll see you back here in 2 minutes.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications.
And welcome back to Overtime, everybody. I am that Chris Dewar, and I'm apparently very sleepy. But I digress. 6 games deep into his tenure, Tom Padgett was still looking today for his first official victory as a head coach and as the head coach at Quincy University. And while this hasn't exactly been an easy transitional year for the program, there were signs last week that the Hawks were getting progressively better. Would that carry over today against McKendree? Hey, McKendree in town, that means the Schmudlock twins were there. I know Drake had 5 tackles in the first half. He's not pictured here, though. It's Nick Lonergan, another local showing up big. The Jacksonville quarterback hooks up with Cody Gower to set up a field goal right here from 27 yards out. Hawks lead 3-0. Still in the first quarter, it's Sarge time. Jared Sargent taking the punt return right here and finding 79 yards of glory and an absolutely fantastic block out in front of him. Didn't even see a number on that freight train, but he got it done and got Sargent into the end zone. 10-0 Hawks after the first. The Hawks would extend their lead in the second quarter. It's Brent Walker, 10 yards out, making it 17-7 Hawks at the half. But McKendree didn't want to go away in this ball game. Short touchdown run right here cuts into QU's lead. The PAT would be blocked. It was 17-13 Hawks in the third quarter. QU working again. This time, Ladarian Shelby picks up the first down on the ground, as there's Drake Schmudlock right there making the tackle, which means he had more than 5 because that's in the second half. Look at the quick math I'm doing right here. But Shelby would get the advantage moments later as he is going to score and put QU up 23-13 at this point. McKendree would get back within 4 again, but the Hawks would go back on offense, and again it would be the magic of Nick Lonergan, who's looked really good at times since taking over as a starter. Here's the shovel pass to Jamal Wilburn, and that's just going to go for some massive yardage right here, moving the gears for the Hawk offense. That sets up this. It is again Nick Lonergan hooking up with Justin Dickens, the electrifying one right here from 33 yards away. 31-19 Hawks with 9:45 left in the fourth. The next Bearcat fumble right here leads to a Quincy University victory, and that gets it done. Tell you what, Tom Padgett is a winner for the first time in his Quincy University tenure. Hawk up, everybody, indeed. The Hawks improved to 1-6 on the season. Phenomenal showing for them. Nice win today. A little momentum for the program, and great effort to finish right there as Quincy University wins by the final count in this one of 38-19 was your final. Let's check some other local scores of interest. The news not good for Western Illinois, which was held tonight without an offensive touchdown on the road at South Dakota State. So the Leathernecks end up getting a split in South Dakota. Not exactly perfect, but that was the tougher of the 2 games tonight. Obviously, South Dakota State, a really good club. Hey, I mentioned the Schmudlock twins earlier. Their big brother had himself a day today at Drake. Ended up with 7 catches for a career best 143 yards. He also had a touchdown on the ground. The Illini West products showing up big all over the place today as Drake beats Valpo 35-21. There's a bonus score for you. Also tonight, Truman State gets taken out by Washburn in a game that was also weather delayed over in Kirksville. The Ichabods win 35-24. Culver Stockton's game with Avila is technically still going on as we speak. Actually, it's been suspended due to weather. They're going to resume this game at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Culver Stockton ready to attempt a 2-point conversion after just scoring. So we'll see what Culver Stockton does tomorrow. Ross will have that final for you when it does eventually go final. One other score to pass along today in the Midwest Conference. It was Lake Forest, still undefeated in conference play, beating Monmouth 28-24. Ace Hendricks with a 27-yard field goal in that one. Illinois College trying to play today without their #1 quarterback. Tell you what, after suffering a high ankle sprain last week, Michael Bates will be forced to miss at least 1 and possibly 2 starts at the quarterback position. That's pretty big. Bates not only in street clothes today, he was in coaching street clothes. There you see him on the right. Taking over for him today, Kendall Gibson. At least on the first drive, Gibson looked really good right here as he establishes a nice drive and ends it up with a nice 1-yard touchdown pass to Josh Gentile. Made it 7-0 Blue Boys at that point. The defense, though, would have to stand up as the offense was pretty much moribund the rest of the first half. Joe Gaines with the beautiful interception. No, they're not going to count that, unfortunately, for Joe, and unfortunately for Sensational 7, because they ruled him going out of bounds at that point. Ross has just thrown his hands on his head. He's disappointed. Nothing disappointing about the play tonight of Mike Ranos, who had 9 tackles in the day and a quarterback sack. He led all Blue Boys in the defensive category. Tell you what, this Gibson kid, he's not as elusive as Bates, but he sure is a load at quarterback, running the football there for 15 yards. Then it's our guy, Michael Tonry, the pride of Jacksonville Route High School, with a nice jump and the big pickup right there to set the wheels in motion for this Matt Newman field goal of 31 yards. The Blue Boys were better in the second half. In fact, Gibson threw 3 touchdown passes today. They win and bounce back from that loss to Lake Forest last week. 31-9 was your final there. High school football, bad news for the Pittsfield Sockies. They have been bounced from playoff contention, picking up their 5th loss of the day today. Didn't even score against Orion, who's a team that has a very deceptive record. All 4 of their losses, Orion's losses, have all been to outstanding state-ranked teams. PGP done for the season as far as playoff hopes go. How about West Central and Route, the Band of Brothers game tonight? Nate versus Nick, the coaches going at one another right here. Route senior night as well. Connor Stremlau looking right here to Ben Whalen on the sidelines in the Mud Bowl for a first down. Save drive in the second quarter, though. West Central's defense is going to shut down the run game. Corey Barnett, he's phenomenal. Chris DeGroot, not too bad either on the tackle right there. Beautiful stuff from them. The Rockets forced to punt. West Central would come up with the block and the great field position in this one, but Route would stuff the run this time. It's Nick Lonergan, outstanding baseball player. He can play a little football too as he gets into the backfield and doesn't allow forward progress. That's a great, great tackle right there. This game was scoreless when we left it early on. Ended up 26-6 in favor of West Central on the day. Also highlights I didn't get a chance to bring you last night. West Prairie taking on Ridgewood. Roy Gully's team wearing pink in support of the fight against breast cancer last night. West Prairie knocking the ball around right here with the turnover. West Prairie's defense showing some signs of life, looking pretty good at times. This was maybe the most winnable game on their schedule on paper. Play action passing right here from Matt Blackledge. Good catch and run by Austin Moore at the other end. That picks up a first down. But unfortunately, Chance Burkle and company do not get the job done last night. They get shut out by Ridgewood. Final count in this one was 33-0. Tell you what, that defense was just on the field a little bit too much last night, unfortunately for West Prairie, who falls to 0-8 on the season. By the way, you can vote right now on our web poll. Just go to the Facebook page, and if you can't find it, go to Tourism's. There's a link there. You can vote for the Superstar of the Week. Last week's Superstar of the Week was Brady Long of Brown County. He was even better this week. 4 touchdowns, over 200 yards rushing. If you want him to be talked about in Tourism's this week, or if you don't want him to be talked about in Tourism's, you got to get out and vote. Currently right now, Brody Gronwald from Illini West, Austin Egley from Clark County, and Coy Dorothy from West Hancock are your other contenders pushing forward as we speak. And we'll have more for you on the Big Overtime Show coming up after this. Well, this is the time on Overtime where we unveil our latest Con Communication Connection nominee for the month of October. Here's the deal. We put up 4 outstanding sports couplings for your perusal, and at the end of the month, you get a chance to vote for the best of the lot. And as an incentive to vote, anyone who participates in the process becomes eligible to be drawn to win a prize package from Con Communication. We had soccer last week. We've got soccer yet again. Our coupling of the week, Clay Cunningham and his cranium, easy for me to say, outstanding header goal against Moberly this week. As you will watch it one more time in slow motion, Clay Cunningham and the Hannibal Pirates making it for the 2nd month in a row. Every time we show up, they do something spectacular. Who's to fault them? And it's soccer out of the gate in October. Obviously, our earlier nominee was Quincy High School's Hunter Hosher and his golden goal to help beat Quincy Notre Dame in their annual City Series. Clay Cunningham, your other choice so far. 2 more choices coming in the coming weeks as well. We've got scores for you tonight. Let us pass them along to you from soccer and from volleyball for you, if we can pop those up. apparently they're not coming, so we're going to move on right now. A couple of weeks ago, we brought you the story of Lenny Wood, the Monroe City man who won an online contest from the Scott's Turf Company to throw out the ceremonial first pitch at a St. Louis Cardinal game. Now, earlier this week, Lenny received his official photos from the event and was happy, actually overjoyed, to share his experiences with us.
Unbelievable. I still can't believe it. It was an experience like you never felt before. I mean, walking out there to the pitcher's mound, I felt a little intimidated as I was walking to the mound. I just kind of looked down at the ground at the grass and got about halfway to the mound, and I kind of looked up around and up through the seating area, and there was eyeballs looking at me everywhere. And I went to the mound, and the mound was a little different. It's more of a granular type dirt than it is just actual dirt. But anyway, I got to the mound and I looked in at Joe Kelly, and I put my left hand over my eyebrows, and I bent over like a sailor looking for something. Anyway, I looked in, and Joe, he got to laughing, and he couldn't hardly contain himself. Anyway, I got into the wind-up. When I threw it, it got to the plate. It was just a bit inside, but the ball did get to the plate, and it had been counted a ball, but anyway, it got there, and that was the thing I was worried about.